Welcome to London. Hey guys, so welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Shaban and I'm a 5th year medical student at King's College London, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to survive London, or better put, the ultimate guide for a new student in London. So let's put it this way: you're a student starting university soon, whether it's your undergrad, your masters or any other degree, and you're coming to London to do that. Well, honestly, there's no better place. London is an amazing city. In fact, I was out all day today and it's just unbelievable. There's something about the place, the people, the energy of the city. It's amazing. But at the same time, it can be super chaotic, it can be super overwhelming, and therefore you may need a few tips and tricks to help you have an easier and better time so you can make the most of your days in this city. So today we're going to discuss a bunch of things, from things to do, to where to shop, to how to travel, safety in London, a to-do list for students in London or new students in London, expenses, and some of the most useful apps that you can use as a student in this city. But before we get further into that, I want you to go check out my YouTube channel, because over there I make videos about medical school and university, vlogs and day in the life videos, videos about travel and lifestyle, all of that. So go check it out. If you think it's something you'd be into, something you'd be interested in, then smash that subscribe button and join me for a lot more. Right, so without any further ado, let's begin. So let's start off with things to do, because that's what you're most looking forward to when you're coming to the city, right? Well, it's difficult to put it down to just one thing. There are many different motives that you can find, many different places to go, things to see, things to do. But these are some of my must-do things in London. Firstly, I have to shout out my area. So that's London Bridge and Tower Bridge. So this is a really nice spot to hang out. So if you're meeting your friends or something like that, you can come here for a walk along the river, see Tower Bridge, see London Bridge, and it's a very lively area with lots of restaurants, lots of nice places to hang out, to eat, and a lot of nice views. If you come here during sunset, the views are even better. So a very popular thing to do in London is to go to Oxford Street and to go shopping over there. But if you're not going solely with the purpose of shopping, I think a nicer area to check out in central London is Covent Garden. Some very nice restaurants, nice things to do, nice bars, nice pubs, nice interesting activities as well. So Covent Garden is definitely a really nice place. Then you have Soho. So Soho is really one of the most lively areas of London, one of the areas that's alive till late at night. Once again, amazing eating places, lots of bars, lots of pubs, some clubs as well. Basically anything you want to do you can find in Soho, so definitely check out Soho as well. Then you have South Bank. So South Bank is another area for a great walk. Definitely a nice area to get some outdoor drinks, to have some nice food, and yeah, you can catch a good view of London Eye, of the Big Ben and of Westminster Abbey, all on that walk. Then since you're a student in London, you'll be wanting to save some money, so not eating out in restaurants all the time. So a nice alternative is going for a picnic in either Hyde Park, Regent's Park, St. James or Green Park. If not, going a bit further to Greenwich or Hampstead Heath or Richmond. These are some of the best parks around London, so definitely you can go there, you can have a nice walk, you can maybe take a football, take a frisbee, or just cycle around the area. Like, you know, there's so much you can do in these gigantic parks, and you can save money because most of these activities will be free. And then definitely check out some of the good markets around London. The two most popular ones are Camden Market and Borough Market for some great street stall food. It's not exactly street food, especially Borough Market. That one's on the pricier side. But definitely check them out. They're really nice. And slight change up from, again, sitting in a restaurant and having a meal. So the list of things to do in London is absolutely endless, and these are just a few different recommendations. Now that was the fun part, getting more into the practical side of things. Let's get on to where to shop. And no, this isn't the exciting shopping you're thinking about, clothes or anything like that. This is shopping for food, and then shopping for essential items like bedding, furniture, towels, all of that stuff. There are many different grocery stores around London, and they all differ slightly, and this is how. Lidl and Aldi, these are the cheapest grocery stores, but unfortunately they're not very common around London. Usually you'll be able to find one within a 20-minute walk of you, but not closer than that for most people unless you're really lucky. Now the more common and mid-range grocery stores are Tesco and Sainsbury's. So you'll find a Tesco or a Sainsbury's around the corner from you no matter where you are in central London. They have Tesco Expresses, Tesco Metros and small Sainsbury's just spread out throughout the city. These places are more expensive than Lidl and Aldi, but they're still much better than the higher end of things. So like what I end up doing is going to Lidl once a week or once in 2 weeks, and then the groceries you have to buy every day, those come from Tesco and Sainsbury's. Now if you're going on the slightly more bougie side of things, you have M&S and Waitrose. So these are slightly higher end grocery stores with sort of maybe slightly better quality and nicer products, but they are more expensive. So if you're on a student budget, I wouldn't recommend them for daily grocery shopping. Maybe if you want to get a treat here or there, they're a good idea. Now if you're talking about shopping for other items like kitchen utensils, bedding, furniture, things like that, there are a few different places you can shop. The best one for like furniture, utensils, all of that, especially if you're buying in bulk, is IKEA. Because you can order online, and if you're ordering a bunch of stuff, it's convenient. It takes some time to come though. But if you're just ordering one thing here and there, Amazon or Amazon Prime is also great. I use that all the time. You can even find some kitchen products and home products in TK Maxx. You can find a good bargain over there. Those are the main places that you'd want to shop for such items. So that's shopping. Now let's move on to the next thing, which is travel. So there are a few different modes of travel in London, and it may take you a while to figure it out. So in London, you'll be using public transport. Definitely, a lot, because that's the best way to get around. There are two main forms of public transport if you're in central London, and that's the tube and buses. The difference is that tubes are much quicker and they can connect you over long distances in a much shorter period of time. If there is a bus connection that goes straight from your house to the place that you want to get, taking a bus can be quite convenient as well. And buses have a much more extensive range because like there's a bus stop every couple of 100 meters versus there's a tube station every 10 to 15 minutes walking. Buses do cover a greater range, but they're not as efficient because you do face issues like traffic and the bus having to stop multiple times. The tube is much quicker, but of course it doesn't get you as close to your desired destination a lot of the time. It really depends on where you're going, so check Google Maps or Citymapper or whatever and see what the more efficient way of getting to a particular place is, bus or tube, and pick that one. Other modes of transport are DLR or the overground if you're in the slightly more suburban areas outside London. If you're going even further than that, then you'll probably use the National Rails or Southern Southeastern, a railway system like that. The train is more expensive than using the tube or a bus, but that's because it's getting you further. Tip: if you're going to travel a lot, especially if you're going to travel a lot by train or overground, get a rail card. A rail card is very helpful because it's a one-time £30 investment for the year, and it'll save you a lot of money. If you're doing 1 or 2 or 3 long train journeys throughout the year, you'll definitely recover the money you spent on a rail card pretty quickly. And the rail card also gets you discounts if you link it to your Oyster card on the London buses and the London Tube, but that's only on off-peak hours or at off-peak times. But ultimately, all that being said, my favorite method of traveling in London is walking. Most of the central city is walkable. You can definitely get to a lot of places in a 15 to 20 minute walk. So walking is definitely, I'd say, the best method of getting around London if you have the time. If you don't, obviously use the bus, use the tube, if you're tired as well. Now, a very important point that I definitely do want to talk about, and that's safety. So safety is a very important consideration because London is a big city, and like any big city, it does have some amount of crime, and there are a few things to be aware of. So I would say don't go out past 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. at night. Around that time, I'd say don't go out alone. Obviously, if you're with a bunch of friends, that's a bit different. You should be fine, but don't go out alone. And I'd recommend that whether you're a guy or a girl. When it's dark, walk on main roads. Don't go into any side alleys because you don't want to isolate yourself. And a very important tip, never hold your phone out when walking on the road. So never walk like this with your phone in your hand. Don't take that lightly. I've seen every second person in London have their phone snatched from them. That being said, keep it in a tight pocket, either inside your jacket or in a tight pair of pants, because they get pickpocketed as well. You don't want to lose your phone. It's traumatic. It's a huge problem. So yeah, hold on to your phone. Don't hold it out or don't be careless with it, because phone snatching is one of the biggest issues in this city. And then don't obviously wear flashy items in public areas. That's never a good idea, like big designer logos, fancy watches, stuff like that. I would just avoid it. In a big city, the more flashy you are, the more crime you attract. So another important thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and that's student discounts. So always keep that in mind. Always ask. Carry your ID with you in places, or if you don't have your ID, you can always download Uni Days and Student Beans, which I'll talk more about in a bit. Now let's get to must-dos as a new student in London. So quick checklist for you. I'll throw it up after speaking about it, but let's go through things one by one. So firstly, you want to set up a UK bank account or a student bank account. You can do that with Lloyds, you can do it with HSBC, you can do it with Barclays, you can do it with Santander. So look at the different benefits each one offers you and decide on which one is offering you the benefits that are most important to you. Any of these banks are good, and there are a few others as well. It's not just limited to these four, but these four are, I'd say, the most commonly used ones. And get your SIM card. So for a SIM card, I'd recommend Voxy or giffgaff. These are the two best sort of SIM providers in the UK, and especially the deals they're providing right now are pretty good. So the next thing you have to do is you have to register with your university GP or general practitioner. So the GP is the doctor that's the portal to the healthcare system for you. So unless it's absolutely urgent and you need to go to the emergency department, you'll have to go through your GP. So it's very important that you're registered and it's all set up so that you don't have to go through that hassle when you actually have to use the GP. And then maybe consider private health insurance, because the NHS does have long waiting times. Lastly, let's go through some must-have apps as a university student in London that will make your life a lot easier. So to get around, Citymapper and Google Maps. So these are the two best apps to navigate around London. Citymapper, I guess, is the best one, but I use Google Maps because that's what I'm used to using. But Citymapper is really good at keeping up to date on the tube and bus delays and the train delays and stuff like that. I guess have both, but I like using Google Maps better. Then for finances, download Splitwise. That's pretty good. And then download Monzo and Revolut as well, because those are quite convenient to have as a student. They also help you keep track of your expenses. Going back to Splitwise, what Splitwise does is it helps you split different costs with your friends. So if you're sharing a flat and you're paying bills and stuff like that, it'll help you with those kinds of things. Or if you're going out for a meal and one friend is paying and you need to pay them back, Splitwise is very good at calculating the amounts and everything like that and balancing stuff out. So Splitwise is good. And lastly, you have the NHS app. So the NHS app is, again, it's the portal to access all your health services in the UK that are related to and around the NHS. So it's useful to have that downloaded and kept on your phone. Two other apps that I forgot to mention are Uber, or three are Uber, Bolt, and FreeNow, which are really useful if you need to book a cab in the case of an emergency, or if you're going to the airport with lots of luggage, or if you ever need a cab for any reason. The three have varying prices. Sometimes one will be cheaper than the other, so it's useful to have all three to get the best deal. So those are my main tips for new students in London. So if you're new in London, definitely take all of that into consideration, take it into account, and try and use it as best as you can. From my side, good luck, because it's gonna be a hell of a ride. It'll be a few really great years of your life, and London really changes you as a person in a good way. It kind of forces you to grow up. It teaches you a lot about life. London is an amazing city, and you're gonna have a great time. So I hope all of this was helpful. I hope it was useful, and if it was, drop a like down below, smash that subscribe button, leave any comments you want asking me, any questions or anything like that, and I will see you in the next one.